Hey y'all, this is Marquisha. Welcome if this is your first time joining me today. Welcome back if it is not, and thanks so much for supporting me. This is going to be part two of the IEP edition of watching the verbiage that goes into your child's IEP. I made a video just basically talking about how you have to be very vigilant and careful about the verbiage that you allow into your child's IEP. You do have a lot more leverage when it comes to this documentation. Okay, you are your child's biggest advocate. You are the one on the front line. Okay, it's you against all these people, all these different titles and suits. Okay, and it can feel intimidating. But if you have the tools in your back pocket, it gets easier. I promise you. Okay. My son is level 1 autistic and ADHD. We experienced the worst school year ever when he went into middle school last year. So he's homeschooling right now. But it's funny because once I made that video, a lot of people, of course, have been commenting their experiences on all the different platforms that I posted that video. It is crazy how they intentionally use certain verbiage against your child because it follows them. It does. It follows them. It's like a fucking paper trail, even though juvenile documents are supposed to be, private. IEP documents are only supposed to be for the school's eyes only. But we know, okay? We know, okay? We know shit don't always, that's legal, doesn't happen the legal way, okay? Watch that verbiage they put on your child's IEP, okay? So in the first video I made, I more talked about the non-compliance and the defiance type of the verbiage they like to use. So this one I'm going to start with when they try to say the child refuses to work, okay? So I'm pretty sure if you have an autistic child, you probably have even used the verbiage yourself. It's just because we don't have the different vocabulary to use. But when your child refuses to work, alternatives that you can have them put into the document is that their engagement decreases when tasks lack predictability or choice. Okay. If you have an autistic child, you know that they need a lot of autonomy. Okay. They need a lot of space to do what they need to do their way, so to speak. All right. So when they don't really have a lot of choice in the matter, when they're given a task, sometimes they would just flat out refuse to do it. Right. Or if they don't have a task being presented to them that really gives them an outcome that they can predict, they can tell what the outcome is going to be, they will lock up and just refuse to do it. Right. Okay. So it's really about them just feeling safe in the task that you're giving them. That's all it ever comes down to with autistic people, is them feeling safe in what's happening. It's feeling safe in what you're telling them to do. If something feels safe or unpredictable, because they are a person of routine, a lot of times they will just shut down. So they're not just simply refusing to work. Right. They are just basically stepping back with the engagement, right? Because they are unsure of the predictability, or they don't have much choice in the matter. Okay. Another alternative phrase you can ask they use is that they benefit from structured choices to support participation. Okay. So if you give an autistic person a whole array of choices, they're gonna freak out. Okay. You cannot give them 50 different choices and say pick one. They're gonna freak out. It's overwhelming. It's too much. Structure it. Okay. Give them maybe 2 or 3 to choose from. Structure it. Put a little bit more box to it, and that way they can feel a little bit more controlled in their decision, right? So they do benefit from having structured choices to support their participation in what it is they're being asked to do. Okay. Another phrase you can use is that they show increased engagement when autonomy is supported. Again, there's that autonomy word. We know autistic people need a lot of autonomy. Okay. So if you show them, they do show increased engagement when you give them more room to be themselves and to do what they need to do the way they do it, they will give you more participation. Okay. So don't let them just slap refuses to work on that IEP documentation. Have them present them with one of these alternatives. Don't be scared to come in there with your notebook. Okay. This is a whole ass class session with everybody involved. Okay. Have your notebook or have it in your phone. Okay. And I will copy and paste this into the caption. Present one of these other alternatives. Do not be afraid to tell these people you are not comfortable with the verbiage that's being used on your child's IEP. Flat out tell them, I am not comfortable. Tell them this feels abusive. This doesn't feel like it's supporting the integrity of my child. Can we try something else? Either present this or flat out ask them, can we try something else? These people should be, individuals who have some sort of a degree behind their name or some kind of education behind their name. They better be able to pull some different vocabulary for you to help you better support your child's integrity on that IEP plan. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about is avoids task. Again, if you have an autistic child, you know they become very locked up when you ask them to do something if it doesn't feel safe. So instead of them putting avoids task on that IEP plan, they can try uses avoidance as a self-regulation strategy when overstimulated. Okay, we need to focus on the need, not the behavior. The need. Okay, so if they are feeling overstimulated, they need to avoid to self-regulate. Okay, so don't just let them put avoids task. Why are they avoiding the task? The need needs to be focused on. And so many of these, I have to catch myself sometimes, but some of these public schools, all they care about is the behavior. They don't care about the need. And I was screaming that literally for the whole year of my son's 6th grade year. I kept telling them, y'all don't care about what my child needs. Y'all just care about the behavior, not caring about what's triggering him. Y'all not caring about giving him the tools or trying to help him, fulfill those needs to avoid behaviors. But anyhow, so focus on the need, not the behavior, okay? Another phrase that you can use instead of avoids task is may disengage to manage sensory or emotion overload. If you have an autistic child or a child on the spectrum, you know they are easily overloaded, overstimulated, they get exhausted easily, or they have some kind of sensory issue, which will send them into overload or overdrive, okay? Which does lead to what behavior? Avoidance, right? So they will step back, they will disengage to manage themselves the best way they know how at that time, all right? You can also try demonstrates task avoidance in environments with high sensory demand. Okay, this is a big one for schools. School is a big fucking sensory overload. Bells going off, noises going off, kids being loud, teacher being loud, or teacher doing this, teacher doing that. It's a lot going on in the school setting. Okay, so they can easily get overloaded. So if it's a high sensory area, they may start demonstrating some task avoidance because they're overloaded, right? Again, we're focusing on that need, not the behavior, okay? Now, this is a big one. This is a big one, and I hate that it's even a diagnosis in itself. Well, I don't know if it's a diagnosis per se. No, it is. It's a diagnosis. ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. So this next one is a lot of times they will put on there that the child has oppositional behavior, okay? Oppositional, ops, okay? I love word etymology. Ops. Okay, they're calling your child a fucking op. All right. So instead of oppositional behavior, you can have them say something like communicates disagreement or distress through refusal or withdrawal. Okay, so they may refuse or withdraw, right, because they don't understand or they don't feel comfortable with what they're being asked to do or what's going on around. Okay. Whew. That one really triggered me. That one really triggered me. I had to take a breath for a minute. Woo! We focus on the need, not the behavior. You can also have them try responds best to collaborative problem solving rather than directive instruction. Again, autonomy, autonomy, autonomy. Okay? If you got somebody with an authoritarian type of attitude towards your child, they're always directing. You need to. It has the attitude to match. Your child is not going to respond to that well. You even as the parent know that your child doesn't respond to that kind of behavior well. They don't respond to that type of tone or that type of attitude well at all. They will freeze up. Okay? They know abusive language and they know when they hear it. They feel abusive energy when they feel it. It's just there. They're highly in tuned. Okay? So they respond best to collaborative problem solving. Okay, babe, what is it that you need? What can me and you do to help you get to where you need to get? Collaborate with the child. Okay? So they respond best to collaborative problem solving, which a lot of public schools still don't want to do. They don't want to work with your child. They just want your child to do what the fuck they're being told. And we know this, okay? You can also try exhibits persistence when tasks align with strengths and sensory needs, okay? Exhibits persistence when tasks align with strengths and sensory needs, okay? So they will go along with what they're being asked to do when it aligns with whatever they're good at, whatever they're strong at, and whatever is conducive to their sensory needs. Okay? If they need fucking headphones, that's being conducive to their sensory needs, right? So demonstrates or exhibits persistence when tasks align with strengths and sensory needs. Okay? So these are some very, very important phrases that you can use and offer instead of some of those, again, those strong and harsh phrases against your child on that documentation. Avoids tasks, oppositional behavior. Stop letting them use these strong words against your children. When they put that document in front of you or before they go on to the next session, they ask you, how does that sound? What do you think, Mom? Or at least that's what they're supposed to be doing. And for the most part, that's what they have done with me. How do you feel about this, Mom? How do you feel about what this says? You are the most important person in that meeting. I hope you understand that, because you are there in lieu of your child who cannot advocate for themselves yet. Do not let them put this abusive ass language on paper against your child.